Daytime. SCP Daytime.
Well, it looks like it's going to be another fine day.
Resistance is futile. Just simulate the day.
Go ahead. Make my day.
How was your day today? Did you have a good day today or a bad day today? Well, what kind of day was it? Well, I don't know. How about you? How was your day?
We have a big show for you. Good luck, show boy.
How on with you and away we go.
That's the smartest thing I've heard all day.
SCP Daytime.
America is big on brand names. Partly, I imagine, because they're usually simple, catchy, and easy to remember. Key word there, of course, being easy. We are, after all, a hardworking, nose-to-the-grindstone, get-her-done nation, aren't we? Sorry, autocorrect just took a couple of minor liberties with that last sentence. Should be, we are, after all, a fat, spoiled, selfish, overindulged, self-absorbed, somebody else do the work. We're busy watching two broke girls nation, aren't we?
I know, right?
Oh, and we're big on brand names. So much so that brand names for many items have actually become the word we use to describe and or define the item in our daily conversations. When's the last time you asked somebody to pass you a facial tissue? Hey, give me a Kleenex. Or how about we all relax with some alcohol-infused gelatin in the whirlpool bath together?
What the hell, Sheldon?
Yo, we're doing jello shots in the jacuzzi. The list goes on. Jeep, Frisbee, chapstick, popsicle, Scotch tape. All brand names and not the generic description of the applicable item. Sometimes, simply because it seems to be a hardwired in the DNA human trait that well enough should never be left alone, brand names get revised, refurbed, or even completely renamed. After Pepsi, for example, offered up a sugar-free version, it became Diet Pepsi, and then when the decaf version arrived, that arrival was announced as Pepsi Free. By the way, the satirist and comic Gallagher once insightfully offered that Pepsi Free was, quote, the dumbest name for a product ever. Pepsi Free means there's no Pepsi in it. That's Coke, unquote. Lately, it occurs that there's at least one well-known, generations-old brand name that is clearly teetering on the edge of a revised, refurb, and or complete rename. GOP. Given the current state of things, it's as inevitable as the Pavlovian salivating at the ringing of a bell that the immediate knee-jerk recommend for a new name would be Trump. Truth is, though, all due respect to the man, and
I said with all due respect.
No, that doesn't mean you get to say whatever you want to say to me.
Sure as heck does.
the name itself is neither visually nor even aurally appealing. Seems less like the inspiring title of something and more like the sound something makes. Besides, the actual acronym GOP has been in the lexicon since, give or take, the 1870s. Seems unlikely that Trump, and what it represents, will have a 240-year-long impact. One can only hope. Clearly, though, whatever else it may or may not be, the brand name GOP is clearly no longer in fashion. What's going on is grotesque, not grand. It shows, sadly, little signs of growing old. And party? Well, only if you think of party when you picture angry villagers with torches storming into town with burning things to the ground on their to-do list. So, what's to do? Wait, I think I've got it. Stand by. Frank Knotts is a local political activist, blogger, and friend by way of his calls and contributions to my hosting stints on local news talk radio. He wrote the following on his blog site recently. Old and the new Trump supporters will tell you Trump will make America great again. Consider the damage just his mouth could do to world markets. The President of the United States carries a lot of weight in just what he says. Now imagine Trump and one of his mouth trips about tariffs or imports and exports. Imagine the sell-offs in our markets and the world markets in reaction to comments made by this cooch before the comments can be walked back. A Trump administration has the potential to keep the stock market in a constant state of confusion and disorder. But of course, there's the possibility this would be good for a billionaire whose companies could take advantage of wild swings, especially if they knew they were coming. Does this mean I think Hillary Clinton will be a good president? Do I think she will hold to conservative values? Do I think she will appoint Supreme Court justices who will share my values? Absolutely not. Any more than I think Trump will. What I don't think Hillary Clinton is capable of is destroying the GOP or this nation, which I fully believe Trump is capable of. So, to all of you Trump jumpers who will call me liberal, who will say I don't care about the people killed in Benghazi, and all of the other things you will think of, let me say this. You have chosen your taste of evil, others will have to choose theirs. Maybe the safest thing for the GOP and the nation is to vote for Hillary Clinton for president and then pull the ticket Republican for the rest. This would keep the madmen out of the White House and give a balance to government to keep Hillary Clinton under control, until such time the GOP finds its senses again. As regular listeners of my radio shows, as well as any of you who read my work or watch these vidcasts with any regularity will attest, I'm not a Trump jumper. And given that, for what it's worth, I'm in line with everything that Frank has to say there. Yes! As well as elsewhere. For more to know from Knots, check out his blog site, DelawareRight.com. All that said, though, I'm more and more of the opinion, with each passing day, that those opinions are of little or no value or relevance.
What difference at this point does it make?
Because the rise, but never, although perpetually expected fall, of Donald Trump isn't about logic, facts, reason, rhyme, or even reality. It's about a mindset. A total tidal wave of hormones and testosterone and adrenaline and endorphins that has those who are aboard for the ride feeling the kind of invincibility and the rare opportunity to use it that comes along maybe once in a lifetime. I've heard it described as a movement, an upheaval, a revolution, and a dozen other heroic and or swashbuckling literary adjectives. I don't use those terms because they romanticize what is, to my point of view, not that different from your garden variety lynch mob. And once the lynch mob is loose, anything and everything that stands in its way is a threat to be eliminated. Have you noticed the lack of any Trump campaign ads or slogans or even speeches from Herr Leader himself that invite people to come along and support with those charming old-fashioned terms like join us or come be part of something or hey, let's stand together? With Trump, you're not enlisted or solicited or even recruited. You're either for or against. And if you're against, the snarky, smug, snotty, arrogant mob mentality is that there's no need to be bothered with any reasonable, insightful, cogent, measured alternative position that you might have to what the mob takes. Because, to their way of thinking, there's simply no need to find a way to get you convinced. Come November, you'll be assimilated. Which brings us back to brand names, and what I've recently, and cleverly, if I do say so myself, come to think of as the perfect rebranding for that grand old party that is no longer grand, has suddenly grown very old, and again is only a party like that slang term the cowboy shows used for a slam-bang hanging, a necktie party. Ladies and gentlemen, after 240 years of tradition and accomplishment, the Republican Party, at least the Republican Party with Donald Trump at the helm, proudly announces a brand new name for a brand new era. Out with the old, GOP. In with the new, Borg.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us.
The election in November will be remarkably lacking in something that has been a major part of elections since time immemorial: undecideds. Not a lot of that to be found in this eccentric election cycle. And the outcome will come down simply to whether Donald or Hillary has the larger number of committed voters. Because when it comes to convincing anyone who is already humping Trump that there might be a single reasonable reason to defer from voting for the D-man, you'd be wasting your time, energy, and space. Don't forget, your input is irrelevant, and you will be assimilated.
Resistance is futile.